Good afternoon, Matt. As requested, we've conducted an analysis of your current performance management system within your organisation at Specs in the City. We've identified some strengths and successes along with areas of concern, specifically within the areas of measurement, feedback, development and rewards. Here at FUN5 Consultancy, we have expertise within each of these fields. Before we hear from our expertise and delve deeper into the area, remember performance management is a continuous process of identifying, measuring and developing the performance of individuals and teams and aligning performance to the strategic goals of the organisation. Therefore, a good performance management should monitor and measure the performance by valid, reliable and fair means, provide feedback on this performance, including strengths and weaknesses, and develop individuals' performance capabilities, then finally evaluating the entire process. So first of all, you will hear from Luke, who's our expert in the field of measurement within performance management systems. Luke is going to provide you with his findings, additional learnings and further recommendations.
Within the performance management and assessment process, the aspect of measuring exhibited performance is integral. Measurement itself can be simply defined as the gauging of outputs, results and behaviours in light of performance standards and organisational goals. In light of this definition, two approaches can be taken to measuring performance, these being a results approach, which is based upon the outcomes of a job role and performance, or a behaviours approach, which is the consideration of required KSAs and how results are achieved. Within your organisation, it is clear that you are taking a behaviours-based approach, given the appraisal form and its absolute system of measurement in comparing, rating desirable behaviours. However, while there is a form present under an absolute system of measurement, there does not appear to be any method of gathering and recording of staff performance prior to the completion of the evaluation form. This observation and recording is an integral step in the process of measuring performance, especially given the current behaviours-based approach. This generates a multitude of issues, the most obvious being the recent workplace action that took place this year. Given that there is no documented measuring or observation of an employee's performance by the rater, there is no evidence to support the assessment of the appraisal made. This aspect of documentation and measurement is performance not only vital to protecting the business from workplace actions that may arise, but also to ascertain whether the individuals, groups and teams within the organisation are meeting their job requirements and performing their role effectively. If a measurement process and data collection were present, this approach must be reliable, cost-effective, fair and valid for the specific job roles being measured. For example, within Specs in the City, HR and administration may be measured based upon the number of calls made to clients and the quality of customer satisfaction ratings of those calls. But in contrast, the optical services staff may be measured on accuracy or errors, as well as customer satisfaction from feedback given. This lack of job relativity is a discernible issue in the current measurement and appraisal form, in that it is not considerate of or valid for the individual and varying job roles and requirements. Turning to the appraisal form itself, the form may be characterised as following the behaviourally anchored rating scale, or BARS, which scales critical incidents of behaviours of employees, such as the accuracy of duties performed. This style is the most popular tool used to measure performance. In analysis of the current BARS within Specs in the City, it may be seen that the clarity of response category and reader understandability of intended response is not done effectively. However, the clarity of the performance dimension itself is done well, nor is there any identification of the KSAs and KPIs specific to each job role, but rather blanket competencies that are broad and not considerate or relative to varying job roles. This is a considerate area for improvement, and by simply including relative KPIs and KSAs and clarifying the dimensions being rated will result in far more valid and reliable measurement. Finally, there is a question as to the validity of the behaviours-based approach to measurement and the form. Given that your organisation is cost defender and mechanistic approach, it would be better suited as a result-based approach, as it is more cost-effective, objective and firm in its outputs.
Effective feedback within any type of organisation is undeniably a critical component of all performance management processes. Specifically, feedback is distributed to employees pertaining information to the quantity and/or quality of past performance. Integration of specific and goal-orientated feedback is imperative for individual and organisational growth. A constructive appraisal form should encompass a variety of desirable features to aid feature development and change. It is undisputable that adaptability and customisation for varying roles is at the forefront of feedback constructs. It not only improves relevancy, but ensures that feedback is aligned with an individual's job description and the performance expectations. Given that there is only one appraisal form for all employees, whom are operating contrasting roles, this clearly indicates that there is a lack of employee-tailored feedback. Therefore, individuals are not equipped with the critical feedback necessary to build and expand on specific KSAs and ultimately reach organisational goals. Generalised feedback can be detrimental as objectives and standards are surpassed. What is to be gained from the appraisal form? How will it benefit organisational growth? Without these, the feedback distributed has no means or evidence for basis of gaining results. It would be beneficial to not only construct and implement appraisal forms that group employees who share similar KPIs, duties and roles, but to also include a specific feedback section for constructive comments to be made. It is also critical to discuss the importance of utilising a variety of stakeholders in order to give effective feedback. An objective and strategic performance management appraisal should be direct knowledge of performance collated by supervisors, peers, subordinates, customers, or oneself. This particular method not only decreases potential for bias, but it provides a well-rounded perspective for the basis for critical feedback. Evidently, in this instance, a variety of sources were not utilised as part of the performance management criteria. For this to be effective and ensure reliability, it is important to cross-examine appraisal forms to identify similar attributes, thus also providing validity. For example, if customers were being surveyed about an employee's behaviour, the feedback amongst all customers needs to be analysed to pinpoint common trends as well as potential outliers.
Development of employees and managers is an important part of business no matter what strategic approach you utilise. Based on the copy of the performance appraisal form we have seen, it seems as though there is no effort made to assist employees or develop their skills. It is understood that buying talent is the method favoured by the specs in the city, however it is not an advisable method in the long term. The performance development plan is a way to show employees how they are currently doing, where they need to improve, and the possibilities they have if their performance is improved. The creation of these development plans for each employee has 4 main characteristics. It must give an employee an overview of the past and indicate plans for the future. It should be composed by the employee in consultation with managers. It should be used as a basis for conversation with managers to provide the employee with feedback, and finally it should serve as a decision-making tool. From looking at these 4 characteristics, you can see it makes the performance ratings more valid, reliable and fair. By having documented meetings and targets, you can clearly show employees where they missed the mark. By having this in writing, the employee should be able to refer back to the notes made about the performance over the year. In light of your cost defender strategy, it does not mean that the development has to be omitted from the performance management process. There are many ways to make employee development cost effective. The primary reason for development of employees are to improve performance in employees' current job, sustain performance in employees' current job, and prepare employees for advancement. Even by adding the process for the first and last development reasons, you'll show employees that you care about their commitment and want them to improve and grow with the company. By adding in the process of discussing improving an employee's current performance, if you identify the bottom 20% of employees and offer the top half of the employees above the bottom 10% but lower than the bottom 20% ways to improve their performance, it will change how the organisation is seen and decrease turnover. Development could be as simple as placing a senior staff member or someone from the top 20% of the company with an underperforming employee to follow them for a set amount of time and have the senior staff mentor them to assist in finding a way to improve their work. The other method of developing an employee for advancement can again be as simple as during a face-to-face meeting, explaining that if for the next year and the employee is again in the top 20% and have shown a certain skill, they may be considered for promotion or a bigger bonus.
In examination of rewards, it may be said that a rewards system refers to the mechanisms of the distribution of planned rewards as part of the employment relationship. The current system at Specs in the City rewards employees in the top 20%, which is 300 employees, with a bonus of $5,000, while the bottom 10%, which is 150 employees, are let go. There are a few issues with the company's current reward system which raises cause for concern in terms of fairness. Firstly, utilising the exact same appraisal form across the various jobs in the company is not an accurate way of determining who gets rewarded and who gets fired, because job tasks are different and require different KSAs. A well put together reward system should offer compensation, benefits and recognition. Compensation for an employee's work instantly includes a base salary. However, there are several contextual factors that can be implemented in a pay system to reward employees further, which include long-term and short-term incentive pay, which will motivate employees to exceed expectations. Recognition could also be a positive factor in a good reward system because employees must feel that their hard work is noticed and vital in achieving company goals. Recognition is as simple as managers providing specific, genuine, and timely feedback. Benefits are vital to a reward system and should offer leave of absence, vacation time, and sick and bereavement leave. Within the current reward system, employees are being fired without any notice or opportunity to improve their current performance, which is not only detrimental to the company in having bitter current or previous employees, it opens up many issues such as unfair dismissal claims or other industrial action. On the flip side, rewarding the staff without any specific reason can also have a detrimental effect on the performance management process of the organization. The current system leaves employees questioning fairness, validity, which can affect motivation. An employee's motivation is affected by expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Employees need to see an obvious link between their efforts and performance, then between their performance and rewards, and then they need to see a value in those rewards. Without a justifiable reward system, the cost effectiveness of the company is put into question because the company is handing out $1.5 million in bonuses to employees that might not deserve it. Finally, when determining an appraisal overall rating, the company currently utilizes the judgmental strategy, which considers all aspects of performance to arrive at a summary. Most of the data collected in a judgmental performance evaluation is subjective, which can lead to errors in the accuracy of appraisal ratings and can have a negative impact on the overall fairness of rewards. There is, however, another strategy when determining a rating, which is called the mechanical strategy. This strategy considers scores that are given to every section of the appraisal, and then scores are weighted to get an overall score. It is recommended that the company utilizes this strategy as it is more accurate and fair way of determining a rating, but also relates to the company's mechanistic approach.
There you have it. Thank you to Luke, Madison, Zoe, and Josh. After the analysis and the presentation from our four expertise, it is clear that measurement, feedback, development, and rewards are the integral components within a performance management system. Matt, it is evident that your current performance management system at times aligns with the organisational strategy. There are some benefits to the appraisal form, however, it is evident that improvements in each of those areas need to be made. Issues have been identified within all four of the areas, and the following recommendations have been made. Within measurement, gather and record staff performance prior to the completion of the evaluation form. Clearly define job relativity, roles, and requirements. Identify the KSAs of each individual within their specific role, and have a think, is current behaviour-based approach most relevant to your business strategy? In terms of feedback, feedback must be relevant and in line with job description and performance expectations. Include feedback sections or constructive comments to be made by both employee and the supervisor. Think about including more stakeholders for feedback, as this decreases any biases and provides well-rounded perspective on performance. In terms of development, 3 primary reasons for development: improve the performance in the current job, sustain performance in the current job, and prepare employees for the advancement. Is buying talent feasible in the long run? And maybe think about introducing professional development plans within your appraisal forms. And remember, provide opportunity for your employees to develop and improve their current performance. Finally, reward. Define job tasks and expectations. Consider other avenues of reward, financial bonuses, not always the most necessary motivating reward. And finally, when determining an overall appraisal rating, consider the mechanical strategy rather than the judgmental strategy. Thank you.